Okay, thank you. Welcome back, President. We are continuing with the taking your testimony. And again, you are still under oath and still bound to respect the rules that we were respecting in the first and the second part. So now I'm going to hand you over to Commissioner Vidot to lead the next segment of the testimony.
Good afternoon, Mr. Wonkalawan.
Good afternoon,
Okay. Now we're going to talk about the incident of the 5th and the 6th of December that happened at the prison. Okay. And I'll be right in saying that you were not in Seychelles at the time of the incident.
I left on the 4th
Okay.
and returned on the 9th.
Okay. And when were you made aware of what was happening at the prison?
The vice president was one of the first people who called me. Okay, vice president, and parmi ban premier qui call moi parce que quand on a travel les quatre après ça l'état mon arrive en bas Abu Dhabi mon plus ou moins pour un early night. Okay, early night.
The vice president was the one that called me on the 4th. After that, when I had reached Abu Dhabi.
On the 5th.
On the 5th?
On the 5th. I left on the 4th.
I left on the 4th. Upon arriving at Abu Dhabi on the 5th, I more or less...
I took an easy day and went to bed early. So he was one of those. It's parmi ban call moi.
He was amongst those that called me.
Would you say that he was the first person to contact you?
No. He was not the first. Parce que tin des ans avant affaire le social media, mais c'est moi ça qui m'a typé gagné, c'est un des messages le WhatsApp.
Because there had been already some things on the social media, but what I was receiving was a few messages from WhatsApp.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us around what time were you receiving these messages?
Well, it must have been after 7:30. I would say so it was at 8h, at 8h30.
Between 8 to 8:30.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'll ask you about VP Afif at the time. Okay, you said he contacted you. At what time was it?
Between 8 and 8:30. Moi, tu avais dit entre 8h30 et il simplement dit avec moi qu'il y en a une situation de prison.
Said to me that there was a situation at the prison.
Et qu'il est une cause avec CDF.
And that he had spoken with the CDF.
Et qui plus ou moins il avait informé, il avait plus l'information.
And that he would more or less inform me when he receives more information. And that supposedly things are under control based on the information that he received.
So, the fact that he told you that everything was under control, I would assume that you were not so alarmed by what was happening?
Non. Mon pour dire non, basé sur ça qui était gagné.
I would say no based on what he received, and he was sharing what he received.
Okay. But you say you were receiving messages from WhatsApp as well, and were you receiving images?
Oui, ça ban mon mazine, ça ban première vidéo côté un peu diffé et côté sa vidéo côté ça monsieur Benjuma, il s'appelle dit
Yes, the
first. Ça qui sa vidéo qui m'a tiré souvent, qu'il est.
I received a video, the first video, whereby there was some fire in that video, and there was a man, Jumai, who was seeking out Mr. Ralph Volse. That's the first video that I received.
Okay. Would I be right in saying then, because you didn't consider that to be alarming, the next time that you will be updated on the situation, would it be in the morning?
The following morning, yes.
Okay. So that following morning, who updated you on the situation?
Well, Il passe en quantité quelque chose et mon cause encore avec VP.
A lot of things had passed by, and I spoke again with the VP.
Et la même là qui mon apprendre qui pour dire il en a la mort c'est moi qui connais lesquels qui mort et qui il y en a certains bandits monde qui sont blessés.
And that's when I learned that someone had passed away, but I had not yet known who, and that there were other people that were injured.
Yes. Sa situation qui pour dire il en a la mort, il en a du monde qui est blessé, ça qui tient porte à mon attention.
The situation about someone losing his life and people were injured, that was what was put in my attention.
So what was your reaction then?
Well, moi je suis choqué.
I was shocked
Moi je suis choqué parce que tout le monde il y a un choc.
because every death is a shock.
Et à présent, vous commencez à demander qui m'a y ça la mort arrivé. Considérant vous-même, vous pensez qui m'a y la mort arrivé.
You start asking yourself, how did the death happen?
Et à présent, vous pas envie de tomber aucune conclusion, mais seulement vous pouvez connaître parler de n'importe du monde, vous pouvez imaginer qui est capable d'arriver.
But you do not want to reach any conclusion, but like anybody else, you were asking what happened.
I appreciate that you didn't want to reach any conclusion.
Mhm.
Okay. So did you try to find out from the CP as to what had happened?
Non, je pas une cause avec CP.
No, I did not speak with CP.
Not at all.
Non.
No.
Okay. And the fact that she's the one who's in charge of the prison, would you say that there was a need for contact between you and her?
Vous connaissez, en même temps, les temps où quitte le pays, on a un vice-président qui était over.
At the same time, when
Si les
you,
temps où la banque, vous savez, là, mon besoin de dire que ça joue en particulier, mon garçon, tu peux marier, et qui, alors, en mesure qui mon oreille ouvert pour me regarder quoi qui peut arriver, moi, tu laisse ça dans la main vice-président pour les ici à terre, pour les occuper ça.
at the same time, when you leave the country, the vice president takes over the matters behind you. And just to say that at the same time, my son was getting married. So while I was attempting to open my ears to listen to what was happening, I left that to be dealt with by the vice president.
I appreciate that, but what I could get from the testimony of the vice president was that he left everything to the prison, to the military, and to the police.
Il est difficile pour moi faire commentaire là parce que mon imaginer qui ça qui moi peut imaginer c'est que ça bande monde là qui a une responsabilité l'opération
It's
et qui quitte ça dans autres main.
difficult for me to comment on that because what I would imagine is that these people has the responsibility with regards to the operation and that he left that in their hands.
Et les 6 quelque chose c'est supposé fini.
And on the 6th,
C'est ça que moi
everything
t'ai informé.
was supposed to have end, which is what I was informed.
But obviously the 6, we go into the 6 of the
Okay,
morning,
understood.
and then even during the day of the 6, there were certain things still happening at the prison.
C'est ça que mon apprendre après.
That's
Yeah.
what I learned afterwards.
And the things that were happening at the prison was mainly aggression by the forces on the inmates.
C'est ça qui mon apprendre à travers mon témoignage aussi. Peut-être mon parler à Lola après briefing aussi qui m'a gagné.
That's what I learned from the testimonies, and maybe I will not really go into that, but from the briefing that I got afterwards.
And you got the briefings from whom?
L'état m'a retourné.
When
Yeah.
I returned,
From whom did you receive the briefing?
Lundi, l'état m'a retourné. Moi j'arrive ici l'avion après-midi, Emirates après-midi. Et de suite après, moi j'ai call a meeting State House. Moi j'ai call a meeting State House avec tout ban dirigeant. Ban VP tout ça là, VP Compol, CDF, Colonel Olanda, Dacambra, Marie, CP George, head of SIS, Sabandimon.
Okay. And
So
sorry.
the Monday, I returned back into the jurisdiction on the flight of Emirates in the afternoon, and immediately I called for a meeting at the State House with the leaders. There was the VP, the Compol, the CDF, the Colonel Olanda, the Cambra, Marie, CP George, and the head of SIS.
And what was the nature of that briefing?
Ok, c'était pour moi gagner appréciation lo exactement quoi qui n'arrivait.
It was for me to appreciate what exactly had happened.
Et moi quelque chose qui t'est sorti, moi je donne en gros, c'est qu'il y a une situation de prison, une situation otage,
And what came out was that there was a hostage situation in the prison,
et que la police avec militaire t'y intervenu,
and that the police and the military had intervened,
et que après ça, c'est une situation si grave.
and that after that the
Ça n'a
situation
diffé.
became worse. There was fire.
Quand c'était quelque chose qui n'arrivait,
A lot of the
mais
things that had
après
happened.
ça, les autres étaient capables, comme si tu capable de calmer quelque chose,
But after that, they were able to
mais c'est
calm
maintenant
things
beaucoup
down.
injuries
But
et
there was
la mort.
a lot of injuries as well as one death.
Okay. And were you informed that what started off that incident at the prison was because of the holding of one
Oui,
one inmate?
Yes,
oui, ça m'a dit.
that I was told.
Yeah. But throughout the incident, you were not contacted by the VP,
Non.
by the CP.
Non, non.
Sorry.
La nuit, les 5, non, mon pas gagné aucun des autres contacts, à part sa premier contact qui m'ont dit, mon pas au courant qui peut passer, mais seulement dans mon esprit, pareil, n'importe du monde, moi tu connais qui vous dit, il y en a quelque chose qui peut continuer à arriver.
No, the night of the 5th, I did not get any further contact aside from what I just mentioned. But in my mind, as someone, you would keep on thinking that something else was happening.
Okay. But subsequently, did you have a larger meeting as to what exactly happened at the Montagne Posée prison?
Non, moi dans sa briefing, et dans sa briefing, moi met en phase l'investigation. Il faudrait qu'il y ait une thorough investigation et peut-être moi influencé par le fait qu'il y en a la mort et non, il y en a 10 la mort les 5 et après ça moi apprendre qu'il vous dit il y en a certains du monde qui ont battu en quantité. Ça, c'était M. Francis Ernesta et qui est à l'hôpital et tu as un Supramanian tout qui a tapé un coup de balle dans son pied. So, il y a aussi tout à l'hôpital et tu as beaucoup les autres condamnés et aussi gardes qui ont du mal. So, moi, je mets l'emphase l'investigation.
So there was
Criminal
no,
investigation.
No, I had that briefing and I emphasized on having a thorough investigation because there was one death on the 5th and afterwards a lot of people was, according to the briefing, a lot of people was beaten and injured, and there was Francis Anista also, who was amongst those individuals, and he was hospitalized, as well as Mr. Subramanian, who was shot in the leg, and he was hospitalized as well as a lot of prisoners, and there were officers as well.
And at that meeting, did you try to find out as to maybe who was accountable for what happened at the prison, like the beatings, the deaths, and the injuries?
Mon peut dire qu'il y en a différents rapports, mais seulement, ça qui est évident, c'est que la police avec militaires qui involve principalement de l'incident.
I would say that there had been different reports, but the fact that the police and the military had been involved directly in the incident.
Did you seek to find out who were the people who were leading that operation inside the prison?
Yeah, sorry, Monsieur Songwa, tout cela.
Sorry, Mr. Sangwa also was
Okay.
there present amongst these
Et
people.
mon pas vraiment de lesquels, mais seulement en mes conversations déroulées, il est clair que Monsieur Songwa was the highest ranking police officer là-bas et Colonel Olanda was the highest ranking military officer.
And I did not really seek out who, but as a result of the ongoing investigation, I found out that it was Mr. Sangwa on the level of the police, who was the highest ranking officer, and on the level of the military, it was Lieutenant Colonel Olanda.
So, if I get you correctly, so accountability, in your view, would be to Mr. Olanda, Officer Olanda, and then
Well,
Mr.
c'était ça
Sangwa.
dès qu'il était the highest ranking officers.
Well,
Et alors, avec ça, on appelle ça, le côté sa seniority, qui définitivement, ça va payer le côté de la police, l'autre côté militaire.
Well, it was the two individuals that had that were the highest ranking officers, and with regards to the seniority, then both on the level of the police and the military.
Okay. But where would you put Mrs. George in that?
En relation avec CP, c'est plutôt dans une situation côté quelque chose s'est dépassé et alors c'est une rôle de l'assistance la police.
In relation to the CP, she was rather in a situation that things had escalated and that she had sought out
Je-
the assistance of the police.
Et militaire in aussi assisté.
And the military had also assisted.
And okay, we know that the police were there, and like we even have some of the officers who came who gave evidence here. They say that they don't know why they were there. Like the police, for the police, there was no need for them to be there, and they don't know why their presence was required there.
Commissioner, mon pas capable de rentrer le sa côté l'opération les mêmes à cause moi vas espérer donner l'opinion qui m'ont pas envie de donner l'opinion à cause de supposé péder les facts. Alors si autres dit ça mon prend autres paroles comment c'est ça qui la façon qu'ils ont senti
I
et
would
m'ont
not
accepté ce sentiment.
be able to comment anything as to regards to the operation because I would be giving my opinion and we deal only with the facts. If that is what they had said, then I would take it as that is what they had said and I respect their opinion.
And even like for the military, the presence there, so many of those who sat there in the same chair are confused as to why was the military called. Even I'm sure you heard Mr. What's his name? Songwa yesterday saying that they don't understand what the military actually even us or amongst themselves ask what are they doing here.
Mon pas pour accepter les temps aux officiers de sa calibre il fait un statement pareil.
I would not accept when a high officer of that caliber would make a comment like that.
Parce que ou qui plus senior
Because you are the
Ou
most
là,
senior.
ou besoin capable de donner commande
You must be able to give a comment.
pour si ou pas capable ou là ou pas dire non rien ou pas faire non rien après vous venez devant commission vous dit moi aussi moi tu peux poser question qu'ils ont tu peux faire là.
You cannot be there and you do not do anything or say anything and then you come before the commission and say that you also was asking question what were they doing there.
Les temps où une situation comme ça ou demande question.
When you are presented with a situation like that, you ask questions.
Si ou pas satisfait qui vous dit militaire il était là-dedans, ou dit avec autres, sorti à là-bas.
If you are not satisfied that the military is such and such places, you tell them to move elsewhere.
Yes.
Wouldn't you say that this is testament to the fact that there is confusion between the military and the police when they are in one operation?
Mais non, mon pas pour dire ça, mon pour baser un peu l'expérience, parce que là nous pas peut causer que un zen recruit
I would not say that I will base
qui
it on
n'a pas aucune
experience.
expérience.
We are not referring to a young recruit with
Ou
no experience.
le dimon qui a l'expérience dans la police.
We are talking about people with experience in the
alors,
police force.
respecter un peu plus l'initiative, commande, parce qu'après tout, un numéro 2 dans la police.
You would expect more initiative, command, because after all, you are number 2 in the police force.
Can I
Yeah, sure,
follow
sure,
up
sure.
question on that? I think it is at that particular point that he also, Mr. Sangwa, he also raised this issue that I thought you might also want to respond to.
Mm-hmm.
That the working environment, the environment in which he worked in, was such that there was a lot of interference with his duties, and he was not being consulted about other decisions that had been made. This is his version, and including the decision to set up the decision to give the special ops unit the anti-narcotics work as a function when he was heading another unit doing similar work, and he didn't challenge the decision to say it was wrong or right, but that he, as the head of that unit, ought to have been consulted. So he was not consulted. That's his version. But I think the point he was making was that going to 5 and 6 December 2024, he was already in a difficult working environment where he felt that he was experiencing a lot of interference and possible victimization. And so he didn't feel confident enough to take the decision that you are saying right now, which is to say, look, I did not request for the army here, they must leave.
Well,
How do you respond to that?
Well, premièrement, moi, ça va dire, les 7 il devrait présenter son démission.
Firstly, I would say that on the 7th, he should have presented his
Resignation.
resignation, yes.
He should have presented his resignation to say, look, moi pas capable dans une situation comme ça, écoute mon empaille mon corps, and
To say that I
deuxièmement,
cannot be in a situation like this whereby I entangled myself.
Deuxièmement, il y en a un compole par là où
Secondly, there is a compole above him.
si tu sens une confusion,
If he
qui pas
felt
connaît qui
confused
fait,
that he did not know what he was doing,
he should have called his compole to say compole. I'm sorry, mon pas dit mon l'opération, mon pas connaît qui peut arriver là. Peut-être il y en a ou les autres officiers qui ne font les autres trainings et alors moi va retirer moi et on va un officier qualifié.
I am not a person that deals in operation. Maybe you have other officers there, qualified officers, to be able to deal with this, and I would step back.
But
Can I ask a
Mhm.
follow-up question on your response? Did Mr. Sangwa, in the briefing that you held on, you said 7th of December, on the 7th
on the
of
9th.
December, did he in any way speak? No, he didn't speak. Because my next question was going to be, did he raise
Non.
any concerns about
C'est
the
ça qui
operation?
m'a envie, c'est ça qui m'a dit plus bonheur.
That is what I was trying to say earlier.
Moi les temps mon écoute plusieurs sessions commission autres commission
When I listened to several sessions of this commission,
et hier soir mon capable dire avec autres qui parce que moi j'ai plusieurs quelque chose pour faire pendant la journée c'est ça pour nouvelle jusqu'à minuit
And
mon rewind et mon écoute monsieur Songwa.
last night, since I had several things to do during the day, but just after the news, I listened to the commission to Mr. Sangwa up till midnight.
Et pour moi, comment un député commissionnaire de la police, qui est the highest ranking officer,
And for me, as a deputy commissioner of police, who was the highest ranking officer,
tu peux dire sur de l'esquisse,
was just seeking for excuses.
qui pas qu'on ici, pas qu'on là-bas, pas consulter lui, ainsi de suite.
That he didn't know about this, didn't know about that, he was not consulted, and so on.
Mais comment les officiers avec sa bonne rang, si vous pas comprendre quelque chose, vous demandez une question.
But as an officer with that rank, if you do not understand something, you ask questions.
Parce qu'après tout, l'état quelque chose pour le mal. Ou qui pour gagner sa responsabilité.
Because after all, when things goes wrong, the responsibility will fall to you.
Sorry. I just received a note here that I think the live broadcast is off. I think let's allow them to sort out that.